Good morning and welcome to Coffee Minutes with Joe. Absolutely excited about doing this morning. Hope you can hear me well. If not, I'll bring everything forward. Today is a fun day, absolutely fun day. This is the resurrection of Coffee Minutes with Joe, a Facebook group that had began in 2016. We're going to start from the very beginning, and there's an excerpt that really stood out to me in a book written by Jordan Peterson, and it's actually called 12 Rules for Life. Okay, it's out by Random House, and I'm not going to take a direct quote from there because of copyright, but instead I'm going to tell you about what the basis of Coffee Time with Joe has been. It's all about creation and how creation is there for us to enjoy, but bigger still, that it was God's voice that spoke out these things. So He is the final authority in these things. There's two stories of creation out of manuscripts that derive from the Middle East. Okay? Christians know of the one deriving out of Genesis. Understanding that God created all of it, not just the earth, but the atmosphere, everything, the cosmos, say. Okay, and how He did that was by manifestation, His word. Okay, everything was spoken into existence: light, water, land. If you want to read about the documentation through the book of Genesis, just check it out. It's the first book, hence Genesis, placed in the Holy Bible. And it starts from the very beginning, in the beginning. Okay, chapter 1 all the way, you can get a lot of dialogue of what happened all the way to chapter 4. Okay, and you see why we're in the state of sin, sickness, and things of that nature present day. God is the one that created all living things. Okay, and we look deep and we know that plants are living things. Our air is a living thing. Everything is molecularly alive. Okay, that doesn't mean that it all has abilities like we do, but God created all of that. Now, in understanding that, some may be wondering when my journey in natural healing techniques began. as I explained that we were going to bring Coffee Minutes with Joe back, the whole reason this time has a great emphasis on who created what and why what is here for whom. But teaching the natural ways and helpful techniques of prayer, those are the things that have the greatest focus. So that's why I say, some may be wondering when my journey in natural healing techniques began, and the simple answer would be 40-some years ago. The why of beginning natural healing techniques is equally important. The answer is because I was continuously sick and puzzling doctors. I was born small, just like everyone else, but had serious allergies and odd birth defects. And these defects seem to interact with one another like an intact body will. Okay, now doctors kept giving the drinkable pink stuff, and I was losing my hearing increasingly. The documentation finally said I was and am allergic to mold. One would think that if I had taken the medicine in the doctor's office and waited in the waiting room for 20 minutes for observation, that the doctor would then know right away that I indeed wasn't allergic to mold. But even though a holistic naturopathic physician would have kept someone from observation, my pediatrician gave directive to wait 2 weeks and see what happens. So, needless to say, I was transported right back to the doctor's office by my parents being lightheaded. Well, I was the one lightheaded, my parents weren't. But being lightheaded with medicine controlled fever, I was on baby Tylenol, and having ears that were filled with fluid. My pediatrician then assigned me to an audiologist for a hearing test, since deafness runs in the family. Eventually, my right eardrum ruptured. To this day, I remember that. Very painful. A hypothesis was met appointments ago, yet wasn't obvious as it wasn't usual. Has this happened to you? Have you had an ongoing something and have a hunch of what is wrong? You don't know how to communicate it out, and seemingly you're speaking to the wrong people. You just don't know that. Have you been taking a medicine that suddenly requires another medicine, and then that medicine requires another medicine, simply due to the symptoms of the medicine? Now, has anyone told you that your true problem could be because of poisoning by your environment, maybe the food you eat, maybe a habit you just won't quit? Well, let me help you with a strong tidbit of help, okay? Today will be an overall dramatic, optional thing that will change your life, okay? A lot of people will start to get scared during the upcoming cold and flu season, okay? But there's ways to protect yourself, and here it is. Here's one way. Here's one good way, okay? Just as someone is getting ready to run a marathon, You just don't go out and run a marathon. You prepare your body. So this is the thing of preparation, preparing your body. Unless you need carbon for a digestive imbalance, that's the fizzy part of soda, okay? Unless you need carbon for a digestive imbalance, stop drinking soda until January, okay? You'll find that your snot, or your phlegm, your snot and phlegm issues will reduce, okay? You'll find your mood will get worse before it gets better, because there's an addictive aspect to certain types of soda, okay? So you'll find your mood gets worse and then much better as your body works to rid itself of inflammation caused by the overabundance of HFC syrup. You know, ages ago, this syrup wasn't included. It wasn't in the recipe. Old-fashioned sugar was, you know, and it wasn't even the bleached sugar. It was just cane sugar. But it's different now. They started making HFC syrup, which is high fructose corn syrup. And it's in combination with other organizations, because the same syrup will cause your liver to be slow, sluggish to function, and high to overreact, okay? Did you know that companies have a specific syrup, okay, to most present-day packaged foods that used to be old-fashioned, healthy, homemade recipes from a loving kitchen hand? And I know that's redundant to what I just said, but it's really important to understand, because high fructose corn syrup is one of the leading reasons for high glucose levels, and which, when left unmanaged, leads to high blood pressure, diabetes, distorted vision, and increases the risk of several types of liver diseases. Of course, if you know anything about liver diseases, which I'll talk about later on, not later on today, but later on another Saturday and another Saturday. Liver diseases start at a bottom rung. They're similar to a ladder. You start out with non-fatty, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So it has nothing to do with alcohol, but it just happens. Which it doesn't just happen, okay? There's underlying cause, and one of the main causes is this high fructose corn syrup. What can you substitute for soda or Coke or pop, as some call it? You can have homemade iced tea or regular iced tea that's out by the same company that created your favorite soda, you know, which I can't brand drop altogether, but there is a really nice iced tea that is it tastes so pure, and it's so nice, and it comes like in a cute little jug type thing that looks similar to an old-fashioned milk bottle, squared off milk bottle, and it's something leaf, okay, and there's several different types of it, and it's delicious. And to that iced tea you can add more fruit. You know, you can flop some berries in there, or maybe a peach slice, shake it up, and you'll have a nice replacement for your soda. So you can do hot tea, you can do plain old water, which I'll tell you, you need an abundance of, especially if you're all clogged up and things due to so much high fructose corn syrup in your diet. Lemonade, that's wonderful. That helps get a bunch of things off of and out of your system and blood. Coffee, just a small amount, you know, of coffee, or a nice iced coffee. Mushroom coffee, I really recommend that one in place of syrupy anything. Like I said, the fruit waters, you can do green shakes. Here I will name drop because Bolt House has nice, they have nice green shakes. Naked does as well. There's other people that have developed their own. There's dry green shakes that don't taste like chalk dust. Seems to have our imagination have it taste. In other words, there's not a lot of pea protein in it. Instead, there's a lot of deliciousness like dried apple and kale, okay, and other different kinds of green things in there that will help sweeten it, that you're not going to miss your syrupy soda simply because of how much better your body is functioning and how much better it'll make you feel. Yet I have a personal favorite, and I have my son to thank with this one. Anyone else out there that hates it. There is a drink called AHA, and it has 0 sugar in it whatsoever. And it's put out by Coca-Cola, a name drop there. And I don't know if they altogether have it on the shelf or not, because they were trying to kind of get rid of it because of the lack of popularity with it. Because it does taste terrible, because it has no sugar in it, no syrup in it. It's a clear beverage that actually you can add to real bona fide grape juice. And I found it to be a wonderful tool. Pomegranate and blueberry are 2 of the fruits that are already in the drink. And you don't have to drink a whole lot of it. I like it over ice. And like I said, adding it to something else. I've added it to orange juice. It's really nice. It just is. So there's an alternative thing. Or just using regular carbonated water that isn't AHA. I mean, that's an option too. But I'm telling you my favorite. Now, if you're purchasing your beverages, simply avoid the high fructose corn syrup by reading the label. That's a concept that the youngsters are starting to learn to understand is really needful. And growing up, we just kind of trusted the brands. Something that you'll keep an eyeball on, especially aside from, you know, the soda. If you want to go further and you start thinking, I wonder what high fructose corn syrup is in, you know. And you'll start going through your pantry things, or maybe start walking through the store and you'll see it's in so much. And there's nothing that counteracts it, you know. One thing that was a real surprise, and this is one reason why people were taking to making their own breads. I had looked at my favorite bread one time, and I looked on there and I'm like, okay, there's molasses in there. I can live with that, and that's actually good. That's an iron fortifier, and I get it. But then I was reading more. I was reading through these ingredients, and I'm like, all these preservatives, and one of the main ones was high fructose corn syrup. I thought, now there's some things that I can't say, for Facebook purposes, because they're you know, cancel happy with some things. But the underlying reason is to keep other forms of organizations in business, so that our government will draw in more money and also there's a horrible thing of trying to keep control, you know, and kind of experiment, you know. Now, this is a time in which I'm going to give you an invitation. Also, as a side thing, this is the first time I decided to script things out and actually do this double thing. So that's why I'm looking down and then up at you again. But I have a wonderful invitation. See, I run a nonprofit that is called Quote You, and I mainly use texting, telephone type thing, and teaching aspect that's actually on YouTube. And I want to invite you to tune in this week on Quote You, the subtle, political, informative YouTube channel designed to help you have ongoing culinary recipe fun. Now, this week will be all about beverages. I'll make different kinds of beverages and have them on there as shorts, okay? Now, this is a time in which I'm going to invite you to ask questions, and I'm going to have to bring my camera close and turn it around so I can see comments. If you have a lot of questions, we can plan a face chat. You know, you can start texting me, whatever you'd like to do there. That's if they're deep, okay? But I wanted to give you the time to be able to have a chance to ask questions and not just log off, you know? Okay, turn this around here. Okay, I'll turn it around again and look at my closet. Okay. I'm not seeing any comments, and that's absolutely great and fine, you know. The next time I'm going to try to make certain of being on a little bit earlier. Last night I was excited trying to get things planned out. Okay, I hope that you have a wonderful day today and a wonderful week. God bless you. Bye.